Big sausage from Canada, what did the Canadian guy say? Did you get any rest yet? I don't like correcting when you're tired. Correcting? Who said I'm tired? I'm not even tired right now. What the fuck are you talking about tired? No one said I'm even tired. What the hell are you talking about?
By millions of people. 3.5 million people from the age 140 to 149 years old. 1.3 million people are on Social Security from the age 150 to 159.
God damn.
And over 130,000 people are on Social Security over the age of 160 years old, okay? Including 1,039 people. Think of it, over 1,000 people between the ages of 220 to 229. And one person between the age of 240 years old to 249. And the record topper, there is one person on Social Security who's 360 years old.
God damn.
So what we're trying to find out, and what we will find out, is are people being paid from all of these? Somebody pocketing 10,000 here, 10,000 there. What's going on? So we'll find that out pretty easily because we have a lot of computer geniuses. I said to Elon, who are these people that are doing this? The Doge people. And I said, who are they? Where do they come from? He said, well, number one, they love our country. Number two, they're really genius at computers. So nobody's going to fool them. When they go in, they see some bureaucrat that's scamming the country, and they try and talk about, certain computer language. These people say, no, it doesn't work that way. These are people that have a natural ability as brilliant computer people. And it was very interesting when he told me that. I said, that's what you need today. But all of these scams have now been terminated. In addition, over the past month, we have effectively eliminated the U.S. Agency for International Development, which was funding much of this lunacy. We virtually shut down the out-of-control CFPB, escorting radical left bureaucrats out of the building and locking the doors behind them.
Good.
What they were doing was so terrible. Where they were spending the money was so terrible.
Good job, President Trump.
Looked at yet, but will be, is does the money come back to them? Because nobody can be stupid like that.
Joe Biden is.
Actually, and why are they doing that? Does money come back to them? So we'll figure that out pretty easily, I think, and quickly. But I've ended all of the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the entire federal government and private sector, and notified every single government DEI officer that their jobs have been deleted. They're all deleted. And it's interesting, even these companies that have tremendous amounts of money. A number of them just announced, Walmart, you can believe it. They just announced that they're stopping. And, these companies are writing off like $220 million. How can you spend that much money no matter what you're doing? If you're teaching something, you're going to have an instructor. You're going to talk. You're going to give them a book. Please read the book. That you find they spent $225 million on that. What's going on? And we were going in the wrong way, and our military was really, although I tell you, we defeated ISIS with our military in 3 weeks. General Raisin Kane was,
then we gave them all our weapons. Joe Biden then gave us all the weapons and everything, gave it to them.
3 weeks ISIS, and I asked him, and I saw some of his people that were so great, the soldiers. We have the greatest military in the world, but we don't have the greatest top leadership. That's why Afghanistan was such a horrible situation and so embarrassing. And so many other things. When we want to, with proper leadership, there's nobody even close to us. We have the best equipment in the world. We make the best equipment in the world. But we have the best military. But, we never fight to win. We fight to just keep it going forever. And when we fight to win, there's nobody that can even come close to us.
Subscribe, share,
I was talking to General Dan Kane, and call him Raisin Kane.
We got 3 thumbs up.
And I was told it would take about 4 years to defeat ISIS, and he did it in 3 weeks. I said to him, "What do you think, General? How long will it take, sir? I think we should do it in less than 4 weeks. You're going to have time left over," and he did. He did that.
You must.
And we were told by the television generals it would take 4 years, so we did it. That's when I went to Iraq. I flew to Iraq. And late at night,
Allergies.
the dark of night, all the
Yeah, I am
windows
allergic to
closed,
KFC.
all the lights off on
Remember
the
all the
plane,
people that were
Air Force
living right
One.
over here in the tents?
And
One of my older
we
videos are
flew
all
in, and it
gone.
was pretty amazing. I'll tell you, we
All
were
of them.
landing, and there were no lights, no
One
lights in
person
the
living in
plane.
the tent
Sir, we
here
have to
no
turn
more.
off all lights. I said, "You mean we spend $9 trillion, and we have to fly in an Air Force One with the lights off?"
There were tents right here
I
at
went
this
up to the
park,
pilot.
all through here, on both sides of the street. There was parks. There was tents all up the park.
People, the best looking people you've ever seen with the flat tops and the whole thing. And I was a little concerned because the lights are off
I'm going to show you where the tents
and
moved
everything's
to
off,
now.
and even the lights in where
Seems
he
like
was
it's
were
still
dim,
American
very dim,
citizens
very,
where
very
they
dim,
moved
with
them
all of the
to.
lights on the fancy dashboards of Air Force One. We're getting a new
Look at
Air
this
Force
house
One
on
if they
the
can ever
corner.
finish it.
House is a
I'm
fucking
getting
mansion.
2 of them actually. But we may have to go a
That's gotta
different
be
route
like
because
a
it's taking them a
$4
long time.
million
We're gonna get
house
military
right
that's going to
there.
start building. We're going to get people
That
to
one.
start building properly again in our country because they don't build properly.
That house was built properly.
This was Boeing. But well,
Get ready to relax with stress-free banking at Credit Karma.
It's gotta be like a $3 million
Away
house.
with a checking account that's 100%
Funny thing, that house used to be.
and experience the
Funny thing, that house used to be right there in the projects. Projects used to be right, like right here, right at this, that red light in the distance down there. So, oh, that was a nice Ferrari. See that red light in the, that red light right there in the distance. That's where the projects used to be. That close to that house. There's projects all around Chicago, but that's a well-built house. This area right here used to be really, really dangerous ghetto. In fact, on North Avenue behind me, my friend Ray got stabbed with the Puerto Rican flag during the Puerto Rican parade. He was wearing a football jersey that had a pitchfork going up on it, and they thought he was gangbanging, but it was just a jersey, and didn't even realize he had a king symbol on his shirt. He thought he was just wearing a football jersey, and he ended up getting a beer bottle thrown at his head. And then we were in my car with T-tops, and we had the T-tops off, and the dude jumped up in the T-top. He had his knee like on the door there, and he came in through like on the Camaros with the T-tops. There's no what do you call it? There's no partition there. It's in the middle, the partition. It goes right here. So this is all open right here. He put his knee up on there, and my friend was in the back seat waving a Puerto Rican flag. He grabbed the Puerto Rican flag, kind of like that stick right there. He grabbed, started stabbing my buddy with it. It was fucking.
lights because they didn't want the enemy
funny
after
as hell.
spending, years and trillions of dollars. We have to land
agree.
with Air Force One with no lights on the runway.
That's crazy.
But they were incredible people. And then I got out of the plane and actually asked my people, I said, "Excuse me, I was very brave sitting in that cockpit. Am I allowed to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor?" And they said, "I don't think so, sir." I said, "Well, I felt I was extremely brave." But now here's the problem with saying a story like that when you kid. The
He was
press will say,
joking.
President Donald Trump wanted to give himself the Congressional Medal
For
of Honor.
real. That's what fake news
Headlines,
does.
headlines all over. The
It
fake
was a
news. We call it
joke.
The fake news, but we're all wise to them. But
Anyone
it was
with a
something,
brain
and
is
then I
wise
went
to
down,
them.
and it was the same thing. I'm standing.
Wonderful's
on the top,
not.
And I look down, and there's these handsome people. Everybody's like from a movie set. Good-looking guys. I get down the stairs, and what's your name? My name is Kane, sir. What's your first name? They call me Raisin. They say, wait a minute, your name is Raisin Kane? I love you. I've been looking for you for 5 years. You are the great. This is what I want. And there was a general next to him. There was a colonel. There was a drill sergeant, a master sergeant. They were all like people. I could make a movie right now. I'd have the best looking people ever. And they were great. And then I went in and, "Sir, would you like to rest before the bed?" "No, I don't want to rest. I don't want to rest. I've been resting on the plane." Other than the last few moments, which were quite harrowing. And I said, "I don't want to arrest." He was thinking about Biden in advance, Biden would have gone there, he would have rested for days.
For real. He would have slept
and then
for
they
4 or
wouldn't have
5
had a meeting.
days.
He'd just go home.
He wouldn't
No, I
even
said,
do
I don't
it.
wanna
Yeah.
rest. I don't want to rest at all. I want to go. So we went into this like bunker, and we had a lot of very good, talented people. And that's what I asked him. I said, I'm here. It's going to take a long time. No, that's not right, sir. It's not going to take a long time. We'll have it done in 4 weeks. I said, how can you say 4 weeks when I went to? And they said 4 years. I said 4 weeks. Sir. We'll hit them left. We'll hit them right. We'll hit them up the center. We'll hit them underground and overground. We'll knock the hell out of them, sir.
Hell yeah.
And I said, why is it that they said so long? He said, because they wouldn't let us fight. We're very far away. They want us to fight for this, from this airport. We're very, very far away, sir. And they want us to fight here. We have many substations out, sub-airports, they call them remote airports, where they build them in the sand. And we have many of them. And I all, sir. And I would hit them so hard from so many different... And it was done.
Yeah,
This is
they
a phenomenon, since show up to work in person like
I
the rest
agree.
of us. So, I mean, it doesn't work when you don't show up. And I see companies now are all going back to it. They're all going back. It's
and they
great.
should.
I watch some of the big business leaders saying we absolutely are going back. You can't work at home. They're not working. They're playing tennis, they're playing golf, or they have other
Yeah.
jobs. But they're not working, or they're
They're
certainly
working at
not
the other
working hard. You
jobs.
could never build a company or a country without. So we have a very strong policy, and if they don't show up to work, they get fired. And we're trying to make our government smaller but much stronger.
That's good.
And we have tremendous bureaucracy.
I would not even be
that's
against
happening.
that.
A lot
We
of
don't
people
need
are
more bureaucracy.
leaving, and in some cases leaving with pretty good offers. You're paid 7 or 8 months and go out, find a job. But some of these people had jobs. They were actually working for us, but they also had other jobs. And those people, in theory, they have problems. I don't know if we're going to do anything about that. So we have other things to do, but they were working other jobs instead of working for us. So they were staying home working, but they were working other jobs, getting paid a lot of money perhaps. We offered deferred resignation buyouts to all federal workers, resulting in more than 75,000 bureaucrats voluntarily surrendering their taxpayer-funded jobs. A lot of them are leaving because they be caught having the second job. Some are leaving because they didn't want to be in government any longer, and some are leaving because they didn't want to show up to work. They wanted to work outside of an office, and that's never going to work for anybody, including companies. Companies ought to get smart. You watch these companies where they do that, they start going bad. Nobody knows what's wrong with this company. Well, try getting the people back into the office where they can be cohesive and together. In less than a single month, the Department of Government Efficiency has already saved over this is just a short period of time, $55 billion. And we're
That's
just
pretty
getting
good.
started. That's nothing compared to the numbers that you're talking about, right? We're ending trillions of dollars in waste.
Yeah.
It'll mean much lower inflation, lower interest rates, lower payments on mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and much higher stock markets. I think the stock market's going to be great. In other
That all
words, we
sounds
will
good.
rapidly grow our economy by dramatically shrinking the federal government, but we have to do it. I'm also taking fast action to end the radical left's nation-wrecking crusade against oil and natural gas.
Yay! Save
Over
our
the
gas
past 4
cars,
years, the
President
Biden
Trump. Hell
administration
yeah!
cut the number of
Bring back the
new oil
Camaro, the
leases and gas
Charger, the
stations
Challenger.
by 95%.
Make a futuristic
They
Chevelle.
slowed new
And
pipeline, and look at the
the Chevy Caprice bring back too.
anyone Dakota Access. They wanted that one knocked out. The Keystone Pipeline, they wanted that
Yeah,
one
damn
knocked out.
Nazis.
They ended the Keystone. We
They
got the
did.
Dakota Access
So
done.
Biden sure did
It
under.
wasn't easy after they tried to stop it. They slowed new oil and gas pipeline construction to virtually a halt. They shut down
Yeah.
38% of active
I
oil
bet
and
you that
gas
all
rigs
has
in the
something to
United
do with
States. But they
fucking
love
the
the wind turbines.
Venezuelans
They go
coming
round
here
and
and Joe
round and
Biden's
round.
deal he
The wind
made with
doesn't
that
blow.
with
They
their
got
fucking
problems.
shitty ass
They kill all
oil.
the birds. They ruin the sight lines. They ruin the plains and the beautiful areas of our country, including the oceans, the lakes. They closed more than 50 power plants, all causing energy prices to skyrocket. You saw that happen. That's what caused inflation, pretty easy. These policies were so destructive that despite draining nearly 40% of U.S. strategic petroleum reserve meant for emergencies, it was meant for emergencies. It wasn't meant for getting the price of gasoline down so that you can win an election. It didn't work for winning the election. Actually, there's so many people that are driving that it's a very small number. It just had a very small effect, but in the meantime, it takes it down. We'll fill it up fast, but it's at the lowest level. When we made the transition, it was at the lowest level in history ever recorded. It's the lowest level. Nobody's ever seen it that way. They put it all out because they thought they could keep gasoline prices down a little bit, just go past the election, and after that, they didn't care. And it didn't work because they didn't get elected. I got elected. But the price of gasoline still rose over 35%, and in some cases, at some periods, it was 100% and 125% during certain periods of time. Under the Trump administration, we have implemented a very different plan. You probably heard of it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Yeah, I love that plan.
And you're doing it. The world runs on low-cost energy, and energy-producing nations like us have nothing to apologize for. We have more energy than any other nation in the world.
We got more oil than the Rocky Mountains and
we're going to use it on
we got more
AI
oil in the
plants.
Rocky
I was
Mountains
telling
than
some of the
Saudi
people
Arabia and the
came in,
countries
you know,
surrounding it. We got
everybody's
more oil
talking
in the
about
Rocky
AI. I hope
Mountains
you're
than they
right.
got.
I don't know who
We're
knows.
not touching it for some
But,
stupid reason.
Elon, are they right? Are they right in going all? They are all in for AI, but the problem is to do it just in our country. You need twice the electricity just to open up and be the top of AI. You need twice the electricity that we have right now in the entire country. You take all of the electricity, you need more than twice. You need double what we have right now just to fuel this new industry that's growing. I was amazed when I heard that number. And they all said, how can we do this? Because, you know, in China and various other places, you can probably get it with the shake of a hand. But in our country, you can't. But now you can, because I've been declaring a national emergency in order to get fast approvals. And we're going to have, if you build a plant, you're able to build an electric generating facility right next to your plant. So you'll be making your own. You won't have to count on utilities. You won't have to count on an old grid that could fail, could get hit by something, bad things or good things. But you're not going to have to. You're not going to have to worry about grids. You're not going to have to build your plant, and you'll build your essentially you become a utility in a way.
If you've been thinking about using turmeric for liver support, give this a watch.
The turmeric is oil soluble, which means it's not going to absorb in the lining of your gut very well. Now, some companies try to overcome that by adding black pepper to it. Black pepper prevents your liver from breaking down or utilizing the turmeric. Now, there's a problem with that when it comes to the liver, because what you really want is you want a turmeric that gets absorbed readily, but ends up working and staying in the liver itself. So I found a supplement that has a water-soluble turmeric that's really well concentrated. So you get maximum absorption. The turmeric provides the liver all of the protection and all of the support that you need, but you want it to stay in the liver. It's called Dose for Your Liver. It's got the water-soluble turmeric in it. It tastes like orange juice. It's a 2-ounce shot. It's so easy, and it has 2 clinical trials to support the efficacy of the product. I do it every day. It's non-negotiable.
The ridiculous Green New scam, halting tens of billions of dollars of wasteful deficit spending. And I withdrew the United States from the unfair one-sided Paris Climate Accord, and I ended Joe Biden's insane
Yes, he did.
electric vehicle
Thank you, Trump.
mandate, because it was just insane. I repealed the last, and by the
Yes,
way,
it
if you want
was
to buy an
insane.
electric car, it's great. If you want to buy a gasoline
Yes, I do.
driven car or a hybrid, it's great.
Maybe.
Whatever the thing happens to be.
Hydrogen-powered car is my
hydrogen's
idea.
hot. The problem
Yeah,
is it's
hydrogen.
not
That's what I'm
really
talking about,
trouble,
President Trump.
because when that sucker blows up, they don't find the body. So that's
Yeah,
one
if
that
you do
I
it
said, you know what,
safely.
let's take a pass on that one. They said it's good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. You find the bodies on trees, on the side of a tree.
But we can do it
I
safely.
said, I think we'll pass on that one, right? We're not going to want that
No,
one.
we shouldn't pass on
But
that
you
one,
never
Trump.
know. Maybe someday it'll be good, but it doesn't
Yes,
sound like it's
today it'll be
So
good. I got the
repeal
ideas in my
the
head
last
on how to make the
administration's very
canisters
destructive
and run it and
natural gas
everything.
export
I got
ban.
the whole
And
blueprints
last
in my
week we
head,
approved our
Trump, for
first
this.
new liquefied natural gas
No,
export
not natural
license,
gas.
and we have
For the, can you
literally-
rewind this? Oh, what did I just do? What did I just do?
They wouldn't sell it. Nobody knows why. Biden didn't know why either. They asked him, I don't know. He wanted, they did, oh, I didn't know that. But we're going to sell it. And the new project in Alaska is going to feed all of Asia. We're going to take care of all of Asia. We have so much oil and gas, like very few people, like very few countries have, like really actually no country has. I also met with Prime Minister Modi of India, who wants to greatly expand India's purchase of American energy, and my administration has also launched the most aggressive deregulation program of any nation in history. Under my executive order, for every one new regulation added, 10 old regulations have to be eliminated.
Yeah, that's good.
And you know, in our first term, which was actually an incredible success, we had the greatest economy in history until COVID, and even after that. It was higher than it was just prior to COVID coming in, which is a pretty amazing thing. But we did a great job on that, but it was a terrible thing for the world. The whole world suffered. It suffered terribly, including China, including other countries. It just was a terrible period of time. But despite that, we did well. But we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I think this time we're going to do even better. We were artificially hurt by COVID. We had to focus on that instead of focusing on, but just prior to COVID coming in, there's never been anything like what we did, what we achieved. And even after, we did very well, and especially considering what all of us had to do with COVID. Some nations were hit so badly, it's just unbelievable what happened to them. As part of our effort, I've signed executive orders to keep the United States at the forefront of artificial intelligence and to end Joe Biden's war on Bitcoin and crypto. We ended that war totally. That war is over. They were very hostile toward them until the very end, just because there's so many people on Bitcoin and crypto that just before the end, the SEC came out and they were being very nice. I was so nice to people because so many people were being indicted for no reason whatsoever. Very political group of people. That's all they did was they liked indicting people. But they were being indicted, and many of those indictments were dropped just before the election because they said, wait a minute, there's 100 million, 125 million people using this, and they didn't want to have, all these people being voted against. But by the time they did that, it was too late. We had that vote entirely, I think. I think anybody smart that believed in that, and there are a lot of people believing it, anybody that was smart voted for Trump, and they pulled the...
True that.
See people that were indicted, I said, I saved your life. I saved your life. Because if they thought that, they actually thought that I was doing it, they said, why is Trump doing it? Is he doing it for political reasons? I don't do anything for political reasons. I do what's right. I do it. I want to be in the forefront of every industry. So I'll be working with the Republican Congress to pass the largest tax cuts in American history. And that includes, obviously, we have to extend the Trump tax cuts, which were, until now, the largest. We're going to dramatically cut taxes for families and for workers and for companies, including no tax on tips and hopefully no tax on Social Security and no tax on...
Do this 7 minutes a day until June 1st.
Watch my channel for more than 7 minutes a day past June 1st.
Include 100% expensing for new factory construction in the United States and anything else that you're going to buy with capital. If you buy something that is going to be good for our country, we're going to let you expense it, 1 year expense. And I did that the first time, and everybody was saying, can you go back to that? Now you still get, I guess, 40% or whatever, but it pares down. But we're going to bring that right up to the top.
I'm going to start a new live stream. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, yo, thanks for watching.